she'll give you more, more, more.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live with DeShawn. I'm your host, DeShawn Moore. Well, many of you have heard about my Facebook Live talk show, and you said, DeShawn, we can't watch it because we're not on social media. That is why I created this show, so that you can get a chance to see all of our amazing interviews that inspire and bring you hope. Well, my special guest is an actor and model. His name is Mr. Mark Willis. Through his faith and perseverance, he garnered a featured role on the hit movie, The Black Panther. Yes, that's right. Now, it didn't come easy. He had a number of hurdles he had to go through to get to this position. But guess what? He didn't stop. And I want you to truly listen to this interview, that it will give you hope and that it will inspire you to never stop pursuing your dreams, no matter what the circumstance is. Well, I want you to enjoy, and after the interview, I'll give you information on how you can watch more of Live with DeShawn. Enjoy. There he is. Hello, Mr. Mark.
Hello there. Hello.
How are you this
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am great. I am all cheery up. I'm cheery tonight.
I feel that.
Just so honored. This is such an honor to have you with me, to have you with us tonight. And it's just, you just don't know, I'm excited.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Your story caught my eye. Tell us a little bit about Mark Willis.
Well, I'm from Oak Park, Illinois. I went to Oak Park River Forest High School.
Okay.
I went to the University of Wyoming. I played Division I football there, and so got into acting after I came home from college, and it's just been wild ever since. So
you are a part of history. This movie, wow. Yes, the vision, the creativity of the movie, The Black Panther, it all came together at such an opportune time. It seems like everyone came together to support this movie, not just African Americans, but the world.
The world. It's
so
crazy, so crazy.
So many people, again, want to do what you're doing. Tell us how this started and how you got to be a part of this amazing movie.
Well, what I usually do is I sign on to actorsaccess.com. That's one of the major sites. And the other one is casting networks. And even if you don't have an agent, you can sign on there and submit yourself to whatever projects pop up and everything. So that's actually how I got the role, is from casting networks. So
yeah. Here's the deal. People want to get out here and they want to act. They want to be on the big screen, but it takes baby steps. Mark, take us through your journey.
My journey. Okay, well, that started when Star Wars, the new one of the new series, when that started. It actually came to town, and it was auditioning people. And my aunt, she saw an article in the newspaper. She's like, wow, this character sounds a lot like you. You should go and audition for that. And I'm like, all right, I haven't really thought about acting as a career like that. So I went there, and the line is about probably 5 blocks of just people lined around.
Yeah.
And so I stand in that line for hours, and hours, and then finally get to the front, and they cut the line off.
Ooh.
And they're like, it's okay. It's okay because you can actually audition online and everything. So I'm like, all right, cool. So then I do my first self-tape and everything, and just looking at the script and like finding that character and everything is just like, in that moment I decided that's what I want to do. Like I have to do this.
Yeah.
And so the very next thing I did was I was an extra on Chicago Fire. And it was 16 hours in the winter. And in the shoot, it was supposed to be summer. We couldn't wear our coats.
Yes.
So I was freezing. I'm like, I hate this. I feel like I made the wrong decision.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
but I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give this another try and
Yeah.
everything.
Mhm.
So I ended up being an extra on a commercial for U.S. Bank,
Mhm.
and one of the casting directors for the extras saw me and was like, you look a lot like one of the stars of this movie. Why don't you come work for us as a stand-in?
Mhm.
So I'm like, I don't even know what that is, but you know what? I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it.
So yeah, that became my job. And then from that, I got on Chicago PD television show where I double for Leroy Hawkins, who plays Kevin Atwater on
Okay.
the show. And so that's been pretty much my consistent thing ever since then. But it's been a wild ride. So
Yeah, Mark, I want to digress a little bit because sometimes people will say, Mark, why are you doing that? Why are you doing extra work? That's just background work. That's just that. And, a lot of times we have to understand that people don't totally get this industry. There are things you have to do behind the scenes before you hit the big screen.
oh yes.
So, how did you feel knowing that you possibly could do this, but you're doing extra work? You're doing the grueling 16 hours, and if you've never been on set, it is hard work. This is no joke.
For sure.
They see the glitz and the glam, but this is, like you said, 16 hours. You're in the cold.
Mhm.
Sometimes you don't eat. Sometimes you do. You eat good.
Facts.
And so, yeah. So, what was going through your mind? Like, I'm doing this work, but I don't know if I'm getting anywhere. What kept you motivated to keep moving?
When I was on Chicago Fire for that first time, I paid attention to what the actors were doing, like the actual stars of the show. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow, I feel like I want to do this, even though this kind of sucks right now. I'm really cold. I'm freezing. I understand why I can't have my coat. It's summer, supposedly, allegedly, but
Yes.
just watching them and just being like, this is awesome. This is what I want to do, and just knowing that one day I want to get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No matter where you start, you can always get higher and rise to the top. So, yeah.
Yeah. So you're doing the extra work,
Mhm.
and you've auditioned now. Tell me about the process of auditioning when you finally got a chance to audition. What was that like?
the the first audition, let me see, that was for what was that for? It was something where I was playing a bodyguard, and
Mm-hmm.
I had to be this big, swole, muscular dude. And I'm like, I can do that. I played 4 years of football. I got a little bit of muscle or something like that. But so I have to get into that like angry mode because I'm pretty much a nice, calm, collected dude. So to totally turn that around and be evil and angry, that's kind of difficult. So
That's different. Yeah,
so you have to
yeah.
get to that mode and then step into that room, and then I remember the first few times I got like really really nervous when it
Mm-hmm.
came to auditioning because I never done it, and now I'm like speaking in front of people I don't know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I have to perform this character that I've been trying to prepare and everything. But then,
Yeah.
keep practicing and practicing, and then I realized that like there was no reason to be nervous because you can actually lose a role just based off things that have nothing to do with your actual ability. You can, your look, just weird things like that, like how tall you are. You could be too tall. You could be too short. Just crazy things like that you can't
Mm-hmm.
really control. And it's like I'm not going to be nervous. I'm just going to do the best I can do, and someone's going to see it, and someone's going to cast me. So that's how I got over that.
Mm-hmm. When you got the call, tell me about that moment when you got the call that you were going to be a Jabari Warrior for the Black Panther movie. Where did you fall out? Did you faint? Did you shout? I would have done all three. So,
I didn't really have time to do that.
Okay.
I was in the middle of Times Square when I got the call.
Okay. Wow.
So I get the call. Well, first, I get the call in the middle of Times Square, and the guy's, he leaves a voice message because I look at him like, I don't know this number. I don't trust it. I'm going to just let it go to voicemail and all that. So, just leave that alone. And then like a couple seconds later, there's a voicemail. So I check it, and it's like, this is Black Panther casting. Please give me a call back as soon as you can. I don't think I've hit redial faster in my life. So I hit redial, and he's like, man, guess what? We looked at your information. We liked your audition and everything. We'd like to hire you. What? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't say that clearly. We'd like to hire you. We saw your audition. We got your info and everything. We'd like to hire you. I'm like, huh? And then, I'm like, okay, when do I have to be there? And he's like, you have to be there tomorrow at 9 a.m. This is about.
Don't you hate that, Mark?
Yeah, this is.
It's like
about.
I gotta get a plane ticket.
It's about 6 p.m. I'm in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go to Atlanta. How am I gonna make it there? So I tell him the whole situation that I'm in New York. I just got done doing some photo shoots out there because I also model and everything. So, I tell him that whole thing, and he's like, "Well, flips to his papers. I can hear that in the background." And he's like, "Well, we booked you as a local guy, so you are local, right? And you can't get here because otherwise we're going to have to give this role to the next person we have in mind." And I did what any sane person does, and lie like crazy. I'm like, "Of course I'm local. There's no problem."
Yes. We repent later, Mark, right?
Okay. Of course I can get there. So
I know that feeling all too well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I hang up, and immediately I get on kayak.com, and I'm going through all the flights from New York to Atlanta. Absolutely everything is booked. Like everything for that night, everything for the next morning, everything. Totally booked. Then I call my aunt, and I'm like, so I heard from Atlanta, and she's like, no, you got it? And I'm like, yeah, here's the problem. So I'm, I'm in New York right now, so I have to get to Atlanta at 9 tomorrow. And she's like, boy, if you don't get off this darn phone and get to Atlanta, try again. And then hangs up. I'm like, you just hung up? All right, okay, cool. So I go back and look at kayak, and there happens to be one flight now. The last flight, last seat somehow, which is the exit row. Tall people like exit rows. You like exit rows, but
yeah.
And it's the last flight of that night, and it's at 9. 9 p.m. And I'm like, all right, cool. How much is it gonna cost? And it costs about $500 one way. And I'm like, this is for the career. Confirm that. So I confirmed that, and then as soon as I do that, there's about a 2-second break, 2-second pause, and I take off sprinting in the middle of Times Square. So I'm just running. I'm flying through Times Square. There's, of course, a ton of people because it's New York and it's Times Square. So I'm doing every pass rush move I learned from football, throw rip, get upfield. I'm trying to do everything to get around people. There's a part where the cops are like, there's a huge group of cops. And I'm just like, all right, hey guys, hi officers. I'm not doing anything. Perfectly fine. Walk past them, sprint across, get to the hotel, pack everything in my bag, in my room. Just pack everything into the bag. I don't even care what order it's in. Just get in the bag, run downstairs to the lobby.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I need to check out now. And she looks through her information like, okay, all right, well, you have about 2 more days left. We're going to have to charge you for the 2 days you aren't using. I'm like, ma'am, I do not care right now. I have to go. Come on, hurry up. And then so actually, what I didn't include in the post I made is that when they swept my car, it's like they saw that I had been in New York and just bought a ticket in Atlanta, and they think that it's somebody else doing it, so they freeze my car. I'm like, great, this is not the time to do this, so I have to phone them, tell them it is me. So that's happening while they're trying to get me all checked out and everything. So finally it happens, and then I sprint to the subway. Get there, and just happen like the train's going for a while, and then I'm like, great. And it happens to be in a tunnel, and the tunnels on the subway, there's no cell phone reception at all. I'm like, great. I'm alone on this cart right now. Who can I call?
Yeah.
Then I thought about it. I know exactly who I can call. So I just start praying like crazy in this car. And I don't remember everything that I said, but I remember saying, God, I trust you. You didn't bring me this far to fail.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, next second, the train starts, flies all the way there. Then get to the bus flies over there, and I'm thinking like, okay, this is going to be insane, the whole security checkout place. And absolutely nobody is at the Delta security check. So I'm like, what? Okay. Go scan my stuff, take all my stuff, my belt, everything, get ready, go through. I ain't got nothing on me, good. So the gate that I needed to be just happened to be across the hall from where the security checkout was. So I just sprint over there, and it's right as the ladies calling last call for my flight. So I just made it because they're going to close the door on the airplane.
Wow.
So
wow.
So I get there, walk on the plane, and if you see somebody coming in late, and everyone has that look like, oh, here we go. Here we go with this brother. This dude's the reason why we didn't take off. Great, wonderful. I'm like, haha, I'm going to be in Black Panther. Sorry. So I go, go to my seat. Yeah. Yeah. So, and that was the day that the trailer for the movie had come out. So I'm watching the trailer, and I'm like, wow, I'm going to be a part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm like totally, completely in shock. And so we get to the Atlanta and everything, and I go, and I know that I have to get my rental car and all that. I go and try to get my rental car, and like there's no rental car companies like with anybody at the place, just like one on like the bottom floor, and I'm like, one left. One person is still open. So went there, run the car, and she asked me at the place, like, do you have, you're using your debit card, you have to have a return flight and all that. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't know when I'll be back. You know, I'm filming a movie. So, so then finally she's like, all right, cool, fine, whatever. Swipes it. And then, so I go to the parking lot and no one's there to like actually help pick a car. So I'm like, I guess I'll just choose that one. I guess. So I go and grab my car and then go to my cousin's house, who happened to live in Atlanta, because of course I said that I was local to Atlanta, so you know, I didn't get the flight, hotel, and all that paid for, so I had to stay at my cousin's house. So go there, I just like sit on the bed, and I like look up and I'm like, you did this, because there's no way that I did this on my own, you know. So it totally blew me away.
Yeah, your story is about perseverance, Mark.
Yeah.
You persevered. You know, it's one thing to get bad news and say, okay, well, obviously this must not be for me because all these bad things are happening. But we know that we have an enemy that's against our destiny and our purpose.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to fight for this. You have to trust God, but you have to fight, because if you would have said, well, maybe it's not meant to be, I'm just not going to, you know, whatever, you would have missed this grand opportunity to have such an amazing platform. Not only are you an actor, you are a stunt man. Let's talk about that. And then we're going to get to the movie, because we really want to talk about the movie. Because working with Ryan Coogler and, you know, Forrest Whitaker and Angela Bassett, all those heavyweights, you were blessed to be amongst them, and they were blessed to be in your presence. So let's talk about that. You being a stuntman too. That's awesome.
Me being a stuntman. The first one I ever did was on Chicago PD, and that was, I was actually booked to be an extra that day, a featured extra. It was there was one scene where I kidnapped Sophia Bush, and you know, she plays one of the cops on the show. So that was like the first day. Then the second day, we went to Midway Airport, and the whole thing is we're supposed to kidnap Detective Halstead. And so I was just an extra at the time, and we running through the scene a bunch of times and all that. And the stunt coordinator is like, something is missing with this whole thing. Like, I don't like how this is all going. We need somebody else. You. Can you do some stunts? I'm like, sure, of course. Duh. So he's like, all right, perfect. So that's how I got my first stunt, because, you know, I was just extra in the right place, right time, and God totally blessed me with that whole thing.
Yeah.
And so let me rewind my whole story from before. Is that when the listing came on casting networks, and it said that the code name was Motherland. So I had no idea what I was submitting for when I did. And man, it still blows my mind. So the listing said we want black, tall, muscular, athletic, handsome guys. And I say, oh, I'm at least one of those things. So I decided to submit. So
you said I'm black.
So I
but you're all of those things, Mark.
Thank you. So I end up submitting, and I'm like, you know, no matter what this is, you know, I'm sure it's going to be a great opportunity. So I do. And then about a week later, I get booked as a football player in a Pepsi commercial. And the whole thing about the Pepsi commercial is like, it's the celebrations are back in the NFL, and so they want like a team celebration and all that. So we're all out in the end zone of the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. We're just dancing, doing every dance move we can think of and everything in the dance in the end zone. And the whole thing was you can't bring your phone out on set. So I had to leave that in the locker room. And so when I come back, there's about 2 or 3 messages from a Georgia number. And it says we're from Motherland Casting, and we saw your profile and everything, and we would like to send your information to the casting directors, but we need to know where you're located and all your information in the next 30 minutes. That was about at 5 p.m. and we didn't wrap until about 1 a.m. So I totally missed that whole thing, and I'm like, oh, great, I just missed an opportunity. Like, just great. I probably pissed off some casting director. Wonderful. I'm just great. So then I go back home. And the next day I go to Chicago PD, my main work, and then come home that night and get a text from another Georgia number, and it says, "Hi, the casting director's name from Motherland / Black Panther casting." Huh? What? I'm sitting at the phone like, what? You're kidding right now. And so it's like the text said, like, we love to have you in for an audition tomorrow at 10 a.m. And I'm like, there's no way this is real. You got to be kidding me. So I look up the number, look up the guy's name, who he said he was and all that, and all checked out. But I'm like, I'm pretty good at Google and all that, but I'm just going to get outside, someone from the outside to take a look at this. So I messaged my friend Bill, who also works on Chicago PD, and he's like, dude, this is legit. And I'm like, what? So then it takes about, it's been probably an hour or so since I got the text. So then I text back like, all right, perfect. I'll be there. And it takes him, I don't hear anything back. I'm like, oh, great. I just lost an opportunity to work on Black Panther. Oh my God. What's happening? So then about an hour later, finally he texts back and he's like, all right, this is information for the audition. Be there tomorrow at 10 in Atlanta. And at first I'm like, yes. I don't have a flight. It's 8 p.m.
Yeah.
How am I going to do this? Once again, I get the last flight, the last seat the next morning. So I get there at 9, and I'm like sprinting through Atlanta's airport and everything. Get my rental car and all that. And then I start totally doing the speed limit to the studio. Totally doing the speed limit. So I get there, and there's a strict, really like the most intense security for a movie studio I've ever been around. They like take a picture, send it off to somebody, like, okay, he's cool, send him through and all that. I get there, get to where I was supposed to audition at 9:58. My audition is at 10. So I just barely got there.
Yeah.
So I had a change of clothes and everything because they told us to bring athletic wear and all that. And so I didn't have time to put that on because they had already started warming up and everything. So I had on Target Goodfellow clothes. Shout out to Target because I'm model for Target. Vice.
Yep.
I do the audition and everything, and we had to learn the first fight sequence for the movie. And I'm running off of barely any sleep. I just got off an airplane. I just ran and drove over to the audition place. So I'm trying to do everything, but I'm still like lagging and everything. And the guy's like, all right, you don't want to do like this because, this guy's trying to come in and take your head off. So you kind of want to dip like this. And I'm like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Dip? So, by the end, I'm kind of slowly getting everything, but I'm still making like some mistakes and everything. So, so then, like I said before, it's when I go to New York and then finally hear back that, they actually loved the audition and everything. And so, it all worked out, and it's crazy, But
amazing.
As far as being a stuntman on the movie and everything, man, it was an insane experience because we had about 2 days to get all 5 fight sequences down. So, and the first day I get there, of course, I'm the last person to get there because of everything that I said before. So, I have to get fitting for the costume. I have to get my hair cut, everything. So I do all that.
And we love that cut. Whoever's the barber, shout out to the barber.
Thank you.
They hooked it up.
So,
You're on fleek.
So I get to the set and everything, and one of the coordinators sees me and goes, "You look way too much like Winston Duke, who plays in Baku. We need you to go back and change your hair because with your hairstyle, you look way too much like him. We don't want people to confuse you and him. So I have to go all the way back, get another haircut. This time they put like a zigzag thing through my hair and everything. I turned out looking like a reject Mr. T, but it's okay and everything.
You're in Black Panther.
So I come back. Right, exactly. So I come back and now the day is almost like halfway over. So I'm missing all the instruction, all this, and I had to learn everything so super quick. And that first day, like once again, I'm still making like some mistakes and all that. So so they would like they taught us all 5 of the fight sequences, and they would test us. They'd be like, all right, do 1. Now this time instead of going straight to 2, go to 5. This time instead of 5, go to 3. So I'm like, I started doing it. I'm like, no, wait, that was 4. No, wait, that was 5. Oh no, I don't know. I didn't get this right. So, that was my first day. And then at the end of the day, they're like, you can take practice spears home and practice by yourself. So I'm like, all right, cool, I'll do that. So I take a practice spear, take it home. I wasn't going to do it in the daytime when people could see me. So I waited until midnight when it's pitch black out and nobody's there, and I go out on the front lawn of my cousin's house. I'm just going. Just doing that whole thing. I'm even in the shower. I know how to do this. I'm gonna get clean too, but at the same time, I'm gonna just. So
you're gonna get it in.
I'm gonna get it in. So then, next day we get to set, and by this time I got it. So they're having competitions to see like who can do it first, and no one really wants to step up, and I'm like, I got this. I've been practicing all night for this. Oh, let me do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bam! There you go. So that was like the first 2 days. Then after that, they're like, all right, y'all done it? time to do it for real. Huh?
Yeah.
Dang, that was 2 days. All right, cool. I got this. You know. So there was one take that we did. We had in the midst of the chaos of the whole battlefield, we had to call out which number we're doing to our partner.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so, you want to tell the people around because you don't want to do the exact same thing that this group is doing because it's going to look all super coordinated.
Yeah.
You know. And so, I tell the guy that I partner with, I want to do 3.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, all right, cool. And he does 4.
Mm-hmm.
I end up getting my finger split open. And I didn't fully realize it until the take was over. And I looked down and my hand is covered in red.
Mm-hmm.
The medic comes running over. He cleans me up and everything. He's like, you good? You good? You're right? And I'm like, just take me up. I have to get back on the battlefield because I am not missing any of this. So it was so it was so much fun. It was like so chaotic, but it was so exciting.
Yeah.
Like the war rhinos, that scene. It was so funny because in reality they were horses. Spoiler. They're actually horses. So
don't give everything away, Mr. Mark.
Okay. But
thank you though. We got to do something for the imagination.
Yeah. So when they would run by, and so anytime they would run by, we had to act like we're getting hit. So you see the rhino horse run by, and then
the My Little Pony.
Exactly. So they run by, and we have to fly across fly as far as we can. So we're just like,
where'd you go?
We have to do this take after take after take. That didn't feel good either. But I'm like, I'm in Black Panther. It's okay. You got people like attached to like harnesses and all that, and they're getting yanked across the field and all that. It was so wild. Another story. Winston Duke. Okay, so there's a scene, and there's a part of that last scene where he hits the guy over the head with a club and all that. Mm-hmm. Before that, what you don't really see is that he kicks one of the border tribe. The first time that they do it, they just do like walkthroughs and everything, like, not really contact or anything like that. Yeah. And it looks all right, so like, all right, we'll film this first one full speed for real. Mm-hmm. Winston Duke comes up, cocks back, gives dude a Sparta kick. This is Sparta. Bow. The dude flew. He was only about like that tall. He flew almost across the field. He didn't even have a harness on to yank him. It was just that hard.
This is not supposed to be for real. This is pretend.
Right. So, I'm like, so we're like, where did Richie go? Because he was just here a second ago. Now Richie gone. Richie, where you is?
He gone.
I don't see you, Richie. So he comes crawling over. He's like, bro, he kicked me for real. And we're like, yeah, we know. We synced it. I synced it. So one of the guys, he happens to have a chest plate. So he's like, let me offer you this chest plate because that looked nasty. I don't want you to get hurt. So he's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that one. So he gives him the chest plate and everything, straps that up, and then it's take 2. once the dude cuts back even farther,
Mm-hmm.
I swear it was in slow motion. Which, pow! Richie, no! No, Richie! I'm pretty sure Richie is still flying. I never saw Richie again. May he fly in peace. I don't know where he is. I think he's still in orbit.
Oh my gosh.
But that's some of the stuff that you don't see in the movie. Stuff that goes on. It's so intense. It's so much fun. It can be dangerous, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I heard you write. Well, I saw you write #worth it. From you getting cut, from you having to probably spend all of your money trying to get there, because what people don't realize, you have to invest in yourself, Mark.
Yeah. Yes.
And this is how things happen. Everything is not just going to come to you. You have to get the flight, the car. It's work. You had to prepare yourself, from your experience being an extra, being a stuntman. So all of this plays a role into the making of an amazing actor and giving you a platform. Getting into the movie, we were talking about people who inspired you on set and what they taught you and what you learned on set. What did you learn, and who were some of your favorite people that you worked with? And again, what did you learn from them?
One of the coolest people was the guy who played Kabi, who's he also played in Get Out, Get Out.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He was very down to earth. Would talk to everybody. There's that one scene where they're running down the hill and everything, and he actually, the first take, he beat everybody down the hill, and he came back after we cut that first take, and it was like, he really got out. He was not lying. He got out.
He got out.
Winston Duke, of course, another cool guy. Chadwick, of course, he went and he actually introduced himself to everybody from the stunt people, the extras, all of them. He would listen to people's stories. Like, he was such a great guy.
Yeah.
So the way that I first met him, we were doing blue screen work. Like, the whole stage was blue, the wall behind us was blue, and so we would do our sort of routine and everything, and they're going to take that and places like different parts of the battlefield that they would like create later. So that's what like me and two other guys were doing for that entire day. So when we were done, we went back over to the main set, and they were finishing up that last part of the scene, and he was coming back because he had also been wrapped for the day. So I come over to him, and he's like, "Hey man, what's up?" And like gives me a handshake and all that, and then he jumps in his van. It's going to take him back to the trailers and everything like that. So then, but the van doesn't go anywhere. So then me and one of the stunt guys, one of the guys who like actually works in the stunt office, we started just like messing around, doing like a little fight thing and all that. And he actually ends up like stabbing me in the chest, and then I sell it like I'm dying and all that. Chadwick rolls down the window of the car, and he's like, "Oh no, you lost! Oh no!" And so then I see that, and I actually do a backflip off the ground onto my feet, and he goes, "Oh my God, what was that?" And then all the rest of the stuntmen were like, "What did you just do? What was that?" So I have to do it like 2 more times, to do backflip, and like we actually tried to add that to the movie, but it got cut. But it's all good.
It's amazing that sometimes some of the best footage gets cut, but the main part is that you know that you were there, you did that, you were chosen. That's more that's greater than anything, that you were chosen to be a part of this movie, Mark. Yeah. Now let's talk about some of the hindrances. And I ask this question to all of my celebrities. You know, so many times you have all that good support, And we want to give a big shout out to Actors in Action, Miss Kathleen Blade Owens. She is just an amazing woman, and we thank her. She's just a blessing.
Yeah.
And she's garnered so much support for up and coming actors and actresses such as yourself. But there are times when you have some people who just won't love you, whether you're good, you're great, whatever. How do you get past that, Mark, from the naysayers and those who see, oh, well, whatever, Mark is just whatever. How do you get past those thoughts and those people?
Fortunately enough, I haven't really, encountered that in person. I never had anyone be like, you can't do this.
Yeah.
But and just grind until you show them.
Yes.
That would be, my take on that whole thing, is to grind until you show them that, hey, guess what? Look at this.
Look at this. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The theme for this year is work in silence and let people see the product and all of the wonderful things that you do. And so I think that the main point is to stay focused. It seems like you stayed focused throughout everything that you went through. You stayed focused. And again, you garnered a position on the Black Panther, and it's amazing.
Yes. Still blows me away.
Yeah.
Still blows me.
Yeah. I want to, if you don't mind, if I don't want to get too personal, but I see that you also are a man of faith.
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I was pretty much born into the church. My mom, Lucy Willis, she's a minister at Apostolic Faith Church. So
Woo!
pretty much every Sunday I was front row or front two rows, So it's always been a part of my life.
Yeah.
So, man, just growing up in that church, you see that, man, they're so encouraging of each other, and so encouraging of me and everything. Speaking of that, there's this shirt.
Oh,
Right
yes. Let's talk about that. A special young man did that.
Yes.
Let's talk about him.
His name was Quentin Upshire.
Yeah.
And even though I wasn't, technically supposed to tell some people about getting into the whole movie, he was one of the few people that I did tell.
Yeah.
Because he's such a huge comic book fan. And he was so excited about the movie. And so I saw that he was making these shirts, and I'm like, man, I need one of these. And he's like, oh yeah, man, no problem, we'll do that. And then I get invited to the Atlanta premiere of Black Panther, and I'm like, man, I know you cut hair. I don't need you to, cut my hair. He's like, man, I'll get you right for the premiere and all that.
Yeah.
So that day he cuts my hair. He gives me this shirt, another shirt, and then one in size large because that's all he really had at the time. He's like, man, just take all these. It's all good. And so that would actually be the last time that I saw him.
Yeah.
And it sucks because like that next day was the day that he was going to find out the gender of his first child. And like, so he finds that out, and then a week later I go to Atlanta for the premiere. And they were going to take our phones because, of course, they don't want any security problems or leaks or anything.
Right.
So they're about to take our phones, and right before they take my phone, that I look on Facebook and see that he had died that same day, like a couple hours before. And I was with my mom, and I told her because she actually taught Sunday school with his mom for years. So
Yeah.
Like that really tore us up, and like during the movie, that's pretty much all either one of us could think about.
Yeah.
And so then it's crazy that like a week later was his funeral, and the funeral happened to be the same day as opening day for Black Panther.
Wow.
So like he died on the premiere day, and his funeral was on opening day. And that, like, anytime I think of the movie, I want to think of him.
Yeah.
It sucks that he never got to see it, but I know that he would be so excited about it, and so proud of me for everything, because like even I'm shooting him like pictures on set, like, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this. He's like, man, that's amazing. I can't wait to see all this like come together and all that. So
yeah. So Mark, it was almost like you were torn. You wanted to enjoy the premiere, but at the same time, you have someone special, and that's a part of the sacrifice. What people don't understand, when you're doing the entertainment industry, actors and actresses, you miss out on a lot. So you can't take the craft lightly. I'm not saying you have to take everything seriously and agree with everything, but the craft is a serious craft, because it's all about perseverance and sacrifice.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So back to the movie, Mark. Now that it is out, how many times have you seen it? And and are you tired of people talking about it and all the garb? We're all about it. So, and I know you're not tired, but what do you think? What was your words? I can give all the adjectives, but what are your descriptions and of just this amazing production?
I've seen it probably 3 times now. Yeah. So each time I'm catching something that I didn't catch the first time, and do things that, like, wow, all I saw when I'm there on set was just blue screen.
Yeah. But
when I look at the film, they put it together in such a way that I would have never expected. Like that when they fly over and it's a shot of the whole country that they made digitally. It's like, how?
Yeah.
Based off of a blue screen and all that.
Yeah.
It's like, how that happened? So I'm blown away. It's such a powerful movie. One that talks about, it really shows like a great representation of us as kings and queens and princesses, strong figures. You don't see any drug dealers, no drug addicts. There ain't no slave in there, and it's breaking the box office. Like predominantly Black movie, it's breaking the box office. Like, wow, it's history. It's
absolutely
amazing.
Yeah.
I saw a video of 4 little girls, and they're dressed as Dora, and they're in the theater just doing their routine with their staffs and all that. And then there's another video where there's 2 kids looking at the poster for the movie, and it's like, that's me, that's me, that's me. And it's like, that's what it's about. Like, that
absolutely.
That, man, it's still amazing. So
yeah,
definitely not.
And Mark, that's what it's. Yeah, absolutely, and that's what it's about, Mark. I believe if we see more images of who we really are, that's who we are. That's not make believe.
Yeah,
we are kings and queens. Right. We have to think kingly and queenly. We are intelligent. We are educated. That's who we are. And so, just as everyone else has had a positive representation of who they are, we also can have that, and it's true. So I just admonish all of you all of the hard work that you've done. The movie is amazing. You and the cast and crew, great job. We can't say that enough, and we want to see more from you, Mark. So what's next for Mark?
That's a great question. I've auditioned for something a couple of days ago. It could be kind of big, but can't really say anything.
Okay, we understand.
But we'll see what's next. We'll see.
Wonderful. Mark, you have been such a wonderful guest. Is there anything else you want to add or say or tell us? Anything, give us some juice of what's happening. I know you can't talk a lot, but we love you. We want to know what's going on.
I don't know. I ain't got nothing. I don't know.
I got you. I trust me. I totally understand. There's certain things you can talk about. There's certain things that you can't. But again, we thank you so much for being that amazing Jabari Warrior and having that warrior spirit as well. I just want to thank everyone. But before we go, Mark, I did have a few questions from some of our listeners. One was from. Are you ready, Mark?
Yeah.
One is from Mr. Bobby Peoples. He's actually a director, actor in Atlanta, Georgia, and he wanted to know how can he be in Black Panther Part 2?
Man, well, like I said before, I got on from castingnetworks.com, but also I didn't know what I was submitting for at the time. So I'd say go on Casting Networks and Actors Access and make accounts on there because you never know what's going to come through.
Yeah.
Also, definitely try to get an agent because they can help out a lot.
Yeah.
And then I think I'm not completely sure what the Atlanta Extras Casting one is, but I think it's Central Casting. And I think they have some roles on there too. So definitely check that out too.
Yeah. And one last question, maybe, Mark, it might be another one, but someone asked, what did God do for you, or how did he show himself strong on set? And maybe what are some of the testimonies that you've had that you've seen God move on set?
The fact that I was there in the first place.
Yes, that is the testimony. That's it.
Yeah.
I think you answered that question earlier. Yes,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Mark, we know you've had a long day. You have been mentoring. You've been speaking all over Chicago. So we're going to let you rest. We appreciate you so much. Would you come back and talk to us about the next amazing thing that you're going to be doing? I know it's going to be amazing.
Of course, of course.
Give a big shout out to everyone, the cast and crew of Black Panther. Tell them DeShawn said hello, and they need me on set. I should have been sure.
I got you covered. Yeah.
Can't you see that, Mark?
I see it.
Again, thank you so much, Mark. It's been a pleasure, and then we look forward to talking with you again on Live with DeShawn, and we'll see you soon, okay?
Thank you.
Well, did you enjoy that interview? I know I did. Mr. Mark Willis is such an inspiration. Well, if you want to see more of my interviews, you can log on to my YouTube page. I'll give you information here, or it's going to be somewhere on the screen, or my Facebook page, or my Twitter page. Thank you so much for joining Live with DeShawn, where I bring you more hope, more inspiration, and more motivation. I'll see you on the next episode.